The U.S. is warning about China's so-called peace plan for the war in Ukraine. China's leader Xi Jinping is discussing the proposal with Russian President Vladimir Putin, but U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is calling the plan a stalling tactic at best. Foreign correspondent Tom Sufi-Burridge is in Kyiv with more.
At the height of Putin's pivotal summit with China's President Xi, drone attacks overnight in Russian-occupied Crimea. Seen in these videos circulating online, the explosions destroying a stock of Russian cruise missiles, according to Ukrainian officials. The attacks coming just hours after Xi arriving in Moscow, the Chinese leader bringing his peace proposal on his first visit since Russia invaded Ukraine. And inside the Kremlin, just days after the International Criminal Court charged Putin with war crimes, Xi calling him a dear friend. Putin saying that Chinese peace proposal, which he has carefully studied, will be part of formal talks set to begin this morning. But U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken hitting back, saying any initiative allowing Russian troops to remain on Ukrainian sovereign land is a stalling tactic.
Calling for a ceasefire that does not include the removal of Russian forces from Ukrainian territory would effectively be supporting the ratification of Russian conquest.
And Tom Sufi-Burridge joins us now from Kyiv. Tom, formal talks are now underway between Xi and Putin. So how much of a priority is the war in Ukraine? What are we expecting to hear from them?
I think it isn't the biggest issue for China, Diane. I mean, the war in Ukraine is the backdrop to this summit. But I think for China, it's about economic interests. It's about access to Russian energy. But I think, for Russia, it clearly is front and center. And therefore, the formal talks are now underway. We heard from President Putin yesterday saying he had studied this Chinese peace proposal. Xi didn't mention Ukraine at all yesterday. Let's see the language tonight. I think for China, really, it suits the Chinese that they have a fairly ambiguous position on the war in Ukraine. I mean, they don't condemn it. They don't condemn Russia's invasion. They're not supplying, as far as we're aware, lethal aid to Ukraine, to Russia right now. They're providing electrical components to the Russian military. That helps the Russians. But in broad terms, they are sort of talking the talk for Russia in terms of the propaganda and the messaging. And I think, Putin probably will be nudging Xi in a sort of more concrete direction. It remains to be seen whether he'll achieve that. And in a way, the more this war drags on, the more that Western weapon stocks and ammunition are depleted. That kind of suits the Chinese in a sense. And here they come as the kind of kingmakers trying to make peace, even though in reality, there's not much substance in their peace proposal. And making peace here in Ukraine will be very, very different to the recent massive deal they did manage to get between the Saudis and the Iranians, which was a massive diplomatic coup.
Now, Tom, all of this is happening as Ukraine claims it destroyed Russian cruise missiles in Crimea with drones in this video circulating online. So what do we know about that so far?
Yeah, I mean, look, the details are sparse. We've seen the videos. Ukrainian officials are saying that they used drones to hit targets in Russian-annexed Crimea. Remember, Crimea was taken by Russia. It basically annexed the peninsula back in 2014. I mean, the Ukrainians are claiming that they used these drones to hit Russian cruise missiles, a stock of Russian cruise missiles on a railway. I mean, I've just come off a briefing with Western officials. Those Western officials are not confirming those details about the fact that Russian missiles have been hit in this attack. But, I mean, there's other incidents or events happening. We had the Russians saying they'd intercepted American B-52 bombers over the Baltic Sea. We've got the Japanese Prime Minister rolling into town here in Ukraine, the first time that a Japanese leader has been in a country at war since World War II. I think all of these events, the timing of them is not coincidental, and it speaks to how important this summit between Russia and China is. Diane?
All right, Tom Sufi-Burridge in Kyiv, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.